continuing the Abdullah Yusuf Ali translation with Ayat 108, Surat An-Nisa, the women. They may hide their crimes from men, but they cannot hide them from God, seeing that He is with them when they plot by night in words that He cannot approve, and God doth compass round all that they do. Ah, these are the sort of men on whose behalf ye may contend in this world, but who will contend with God on their behalf on the day of judgment, or who will carry their affairs through. If anyone does evil or wrongs his own soul, but afterwards seeks God's forgiveness, he will find God oft forgiving, most merciful. And if anyone earns sin, he earns it against his own soul, for God is full of knowledge and wisdom. But if anyone earns a fault or sin and throws it on one that is innocent, he carries on himself both a falsehood and a flagrant sin. But for the grace of God, to thee and his mercy a party of them would certainly have plotted to lead thee astray, but in fact they will only lead their own souls astray, and to thee they can do no harm in the least. For God hath sent down to thee the book and wisdom, and taught thee what thou knewest not before. And great is the grace of God unto thee. In most of their secret talks there is no good, but if one exhorts to a deed of charity or justice or conciliation between men, secrecy is permissible to him who does this, seeking the good pleasure of God. We shall soon give a reward of the highest value. If anyone contends with the messenger, even after guidance has been plainly conveyed to him, and follows a path other than that becoming to men of faith, we shall leave him in the path he has chosen, and land him in hell when an evil refuge. God forgiveth not the sin of joining other gods with him, but he forgiveth whom he pleaseth other sins than this. One who joins other gods with God hath strayed far, far away from the right. Considering others to be gods, basically, is what we're having here. And partners. So you take in partners. The one who takes in partners, Yushraka, yeah. So it's not saying that other gods exist or something like that. Leaving him, call but upon female entities. They call upon Satan, the persistent rebel. They're evoking in worship. Now you can evoke, there's evocative effects on those present, but that's not the same as evoking in worship. God did curse him, but he said, I will take of thy servants a portion marked off. I will mislead them, and I will create in them false desires. I will order them to slit the ears of cattle and to deface the fair nature created by God. Whoever, forsaking God, takes Satan for a friend, hath of a surety suffered a loss that is manifest. Satan makes them promises and creates in them false desires, but Satan's promises are nothing but deception. They, his dupes, will have their dwelling in hell, and from it they will find no way of escape. But those who believe and do deeds of righteousness, we shall soon admit them to gardens with rivers flowing beneath, to dwell therein forever. God's promise is the truth, and whose word can be truer than God's? Nor your desires, nor those of the people of the book can prevail. Whoever works evil will be requited accordingly, nor will he find beside God any protector or helper. If any do deeds of righteousness, be they male or female, and have faith, they will enter heaven. you know, they'll enter the paradise hereafter. Heaven's not really the right word to translate. Oh, Jannah. And not the least injustice will be done to them. Who can be better in religion than the one who submits his whole self to God, does good, and follows the way of Abraham, the true in faith? For God did take Abraham as a friend, but to God belong all things in the heavens and on earth, and he it is that encompasseth all things. They ask thy instruction concerning the women, say God doth instruct you about them, and remember what hath been rehearsed unto you in the book concerning the orphans of the women to whom ye give not the portions prescribed, and yet whom ye desire to marry, as also concerning the children who are weak and oppressed, that ye stand firm for justice to orphans. There is not a good deed which ye do, but God is well acquainted therewith. If a wife fears cruelty or desertion on her husband's part, there is no blame on them if they arrange an amicable settlement between themselves, and such settlement is best, even though men's souls are swayed by greed. But if ye do good and practice self-restraint, God is well acquainted with all that ye do. Ye are never able to be fair and just as between women, even if it is your ardent desire, but turn not away from a woman altogether, so as to leave her, as it were, hanging in the air. If ye mend your ways and practice self-restraint, God is oft forgiving, most merciful. But if they disagree and must part, God will provide abundance for all from his all-reaching bounty. For God is he that careth for all, and is wise. To God belongeth all things in the heaven and on earth. Verily we have directed the people of the book before you, and you to fear God. But if ye deny him, lo, unto God belong all things in the heavens and on earth, and God is free of all wants, worthy of all praise. Yea, unto God belong all things in heavens and on earth, and enough is God to carry through all affairs. If it were his will, he could destroy you, O mankind, and create another race, for he hath power this to do. If anyone desires a reward in this life, in God's gift is the reward both of this life and of the hereafter. For God is he that heareth and seeth all things. O ye who believe, stand out firmly for justice as a witness to God, even as against yourselves, are your parents, are your kin, and whether it be against rich or poor, for God can best protect both. Follow not the lust of your hearts, lest ye swerve, and if ye distort justice, or decline to do justice, verily God is well acquainted with all that ye do. O ye who believe, believe in God and his messenger, and the scripture which he hath sent to his messenger, and the scripture which he sent to those before. Any who denieth God, his unfallen angels, his books, his messengers, and the day of judgment, hath gone far, far astray. Those who believe, then reject faith, then believe again, and again reject faith, and go on increasing in unbelief. God will not forgive them, nor guide them on the way. Now, verse 137 there is where I'm closing the reading for this for now. But see, this is proof. This is the ideal. People can apostate. They can go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. They're allowed to. But this is, spiritually a dangerous thing and tends to make things worse as time goes along. But see, freedom. Because they couldn't do it repeatedly if there was a death penalty for apostasy. because the ideal would not exist. This is how you treat them.